see what it is that he does.
There's better ones than that. Oh, this is towards the end.
We could use some of that swinging of the arm and the kind of... Some of that's quite good. That little bit at the end as he kind of slacks and then looks back behind him is good. Yeah. So here we are in the cutting room, trying to get Return of the King finished in time for December. So there's a movie in the theatres. We're cutting a scene actually in Shelob's tunnel at the moment with Frodo. So for all of you that were patiently waiting to see this scene at the end of the Two Towers, I do promise you it's going to appear in Return of the King. So what we'll do is we'll give you a little preview, which is really a snapshot of where we are today with Return of the King. So I hope you enjoy this. At the end of the Two Towers, Gandalf says the battle for Helm's Deep is over.
The battle for Middle-earth is about to begin.
In a sense, that does sum up the Return of the King. Helm's Deep was really just an opening skirmish. This is the real battle. It's the battle where the future is decided. Are orcs and Sauron going to prevail? Is mankind going to prevail? And it's in the balance.
Understand, things are now in motion that cannot be undone. If the ring is destroyed, Sauron will fall. But if Sauron regains the ring, his victory will be so complete that none can foresee the end of it while this world lasts.
He has gone unchallenged long enough.
The title, The Return of the King, really refers to the situation with Aragorn becoming king or not becoming king.
What has begun is him coming to terms with what increasingly appears to be his destiny. He has to confront his worst fears in a way.
How do you assume a mantle of a king? How do you take that on yourself? How do you say, I'm the one that you must follow? I think that is what he's struggling with because he has seen what power can do.
There's a test for Aragorn. He and Legolas and Gimli have to basically go into the middle of a haunted mountain called the Dwimmerberg and face a very dangerous and frightening, horrific test inside the depths of this dark mountain. It's a test of, is Aragorn truly the rightful heir to the throne of Gondor? And secondly, does Aragorn actually want to accept that challenge? Does he want to be king of Gondor? The leadership of Gondor is in the hands of the stewards, who are supposed to be the caretakers for the throne. Denethor, who's actually the father of Boromir and Faramir, is the current steward, and John Noble plays him wonderfully well.
Word has reached my ears of this Aragorn, son of Arathorn, and I tell you now, I will not bow to this ranger from the north.
He's a man under immense pressure because Mordor is now growing strong again and is mounting its final offensive against Gondor. Sauron comes to believe that Pippin is the ring bearer, that Pippin actually has the ring, and that puts Pippin in mortal danger.
Don't you understand? The enemy thinks you have the ring. He's coming for you.
So Pippin is taken by Gandalf to Minas Tirith, the stronghold of the, mankind, which Gandalf reckons is the safest place for him.
The city of Minas Tirith is one of the things I've been looking forward to in Return of the King. We created the city in two different ways. We built this huge set in a quarry. It was the same quarry that we used for Helm's Deep, and we shot the Helm's Deep castle and ripped it down, and within a few weeks we'd then constructed the city of Minas Tirith in the same place. And that was a huge set. It was like a backlot. In all nooks and crannies of this quarry, there were corners of Minas Tirith built. And as big as the set was, obviously it was a tiny fraction of what the full-size city would really be. Our only way that we could create the full-size city was to ultimately build a huge miniature. And it is a giant miniature. It's built to 1/72nd scale. It's wonderfully detailed. We have our cameras getting really close to the model. We've had to just put the most microscopic level of detail into painting and finishing off the model so that it can stand up to the rather close scrutiny of the cameras that we're putting on it.
Sauron brings all the weight of his army to bear on Minas Tirith and the Pelennor Fields on a scale that truly dwarfs Helm's Deep.
Whereas at Helm's Deep there were 10,000 Uruks, the enemy forces at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields are probably 200,000 strong.
When you're planning a battle, the geography becomes quite important. And we did all this experimentation with lenses, and we sort of built this landscape in the computer simply to try to get the geography, the distances, the scale, the size of things, obviously basing it on the descriptions in Tolkien's book.
What I'm doing at the moment is plotting an animated formation of the orcs in different groups. So we've got groups of 1,000, groups of 200, groups of 2,000, groups of 5,000 and 10,000. In various blocks and arrangements that are marching on the city.
You can't just sort of invent the sequence shot by shot, because there has to be a sort of a continuity as the battle unfolds. So we're basically having to figure out the formations of orcs, where they are, how quickly they close in around the walls of the city, when the siege towers go forward, when the catapults fire. The whole thing is like actually plotting a real battle, sort of like the night before, figuring out the campaign strategy.
I think it will probably be the most spectacular battle scene ever filmed.
You don't really see war through the eyes of a hobbit too much, you know, in the movie. But Merry, he becomes a warrior. He finds himself with an army that he has to then go into battle with.
The riders of Rohan are summoned to the aid of Gondor. And Merry is right in the thick of that, as is Éowyn, as is Éomer, as is Theoden. They're all heading towards Gondor.
That's why the Fellowship went to Edoras to begin with, is to enlist the help of the Rohirrim. That kind of horsemanship, that courage, the bravery, the cavalry basically. It's the kind of, they needed some cavalry, so they went to Rohan.
We did a lot of that with real horses. We mustered together our own army of about 250 horses, which is a huge number of horses to see in one place.
I remember when they put out a call for all able-bodied horse riders. It was like this Woodstockian trek, you know, horse riders from all over the country were coming down with horse and cart, you know, congregating on this one field outside of Twisel. Everyone just really wanted to be a part of it.
It was amazing to be there. Once they started, it was like a thunder coming down the plains, and it was so overwhelming and filled you with such an emotional impact just hearing that and seeing that and being there.
What do you think of that, Kane? Unbelievable. Great moment in Weta history, just rode past.
Because we want thousands of horses, it becomes very important to be able to duplicate horses very realistically in the computer. So we've developed our motion capture system to accommodate horses. And we're able to ride horses around, do things with the horses that are able to be then captured by the computer. We can then also add stunts, doing things that you could never do with real horses safely. And so it creates, you know, very exciting looking sequences where obviously no animal is in danger. The great thing with Lord of the Rings is, as well as these huge battle scenes, you have the intimate story, the emotional story, and that's where most of the power of the Return of the King really lies.
All the massing armies, Aragorn, Gandalf's brilliant strategy, everything that happens is only about, can we buy Frodo a chance?
So you have this massive war on an external level, and on an internal level, you have two little hobbits, Frodo and Sam, on their hands and knees, literally crawling up a mountain. It's the relationship between those two characters. It is the heart of the movie.
If you want to know where the third film is going, just wait and see what it is where Elijah goes and what happens to poor Mr. Frodo.
Essentially, you watch the complete deterioration of Frodo to the point where Frodo ceases to be Frodo anymore.
There's a wonderful line that Tolkien wrote about Sam, and it is, his will was set and only death would break it. I think we've moved most of our characters to that point.
It's a movie and it's a book that deal really seriously with the nature of good and evil. At what cost will good win? Who will have to suffer? What will be lost? What kind of pain will have to be endured by the characters that people have grown to enjoy?
There are some victories, but there are great losses as well. Everyone will have suffered, some will not have survived.
As much as I know the movie, as much as I have lived through this experience for the last 4 years, When I watch this, it brings tears to my eyes.
It's better than 1 and 2 combined. And a lot of people think I'm crazy, but it's true. It's amazing. It's better than I could have hoped it to be. Maybe that's the best way to say it.
Everybody that we know, in some form or another, comes out of it different. I mean, it is an immensely affecting experience for them, and I hope for the audience as well.
Is there any hope, Gandalf, for Frodo and Sam?
There never was much hope. Just a fool's hope.
We shall see the Shire again.
My lord, Osgiliath is overrun.
I would have you smile again, not grieve for those whose time has come.
Orders sent. Pieces are moving. We come to it at last. The great battle of our time.
You don't see it, do you?
Precious ruby eyes.
He's leading us into a trap.
Once the hobbits is
Ride now! Ride for ruin! And the world's ending!
Good one. You look
It's
like
not bad.
scared
We should
there.
peanut that one.
A bit scared on his eyes.
So we hope you enjoy this special exclusive look at The Return of the King. It's definitely my favourite of the 3 movies. I think we are saving the best Lord of the Rings film till last. And coming to a cinema near you, I guess, in 2 or 3 months, if we can get the cutting finished. We better get back to work.